From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, opposition senators threaten to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari over rising insecurity. Court reserves ruling on suspended AGF's bail application. Organized labor storm National Assembly over ASU, NASU, NAAT strike. On the foreign scene, Turkey's consulate in Iraqi city of Mosul comes under attack. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayinde Shuaga. Opposition lawmakers in the Senate have given a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to fix the security challenges in the country or face impeachment. Senate Minority Leader Senator Philip Aduda, flanked by others at a press briefing after they walked out of the chambers in anger, revealed that they have given President Muhammadu Buhari 6 weeks to resolve terrorist attacks in the country or face impeachment.
Senator Aduda had attempted to move a motion to present an agreed ultimatum to President Buhari, but Senate President Ahmed Lawan ruled him out of order. The caucus said the impeachment issue was raised during a 2-hour closed-door meeting, but the Senate President was unwilling to allow the matter to be tabled at plenary despite their agreement.
We went into a closed session to discuss issues as they relate to security in this country, especially the happenings in Abuja and happenings all over the country. And we agreed that the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property of citizens. And for us, the minority caucus in the Senate, we also took into cognizance the fact that the Senate had at various levels, at various times, convened various security meetings, various security issues were discussed, and we did recommend to government various steps and measures aimed at curbing these issues of insecurity. We realized that even Abuja that we are in is no more safe, and all of you will agree with us.
Aduda, who represents the Federal Capital Territory in the upper legislative chamber, raised the alarm that despite several resolutions reached by the National Assembly on the state of the nation on different occasions, the president has failed to act on any.
And so at the closed session, we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum that failing which, if it is not complied with, will move immediately to give an impeachment notice.
Meanwhile, the lawmakers also chanted solidarity songs to buttress their stand. Lawmaker representing Sokoto East Senatorial District Ibrahim Gobi has been named as a new leader of the Senate and by extension chairman of the All Progressives Congress caucus. President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan made this announcement on Wednesday at plenary. He said Senator Gobi's appointment followed receipt of a letter from the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu. Gobi is to replace Senator Yahya Abdullahi, who defected to the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
With reference to your letter number NAS 9S/SP/D/12-12 dated 16 June 2022, in which you informed the party of the vacancy for the office of the Senate leader of our party, except here with the party's nomination of Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Gobi, Sokoto East Senatorial District, as replacement for the Senate leader and chairman, APC Senate Caucus.
In the meantime, the federal government told the senators who threatened to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari within 6 weeks if the current security situation does not improve, that the administration is on top of the matter. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this while fielding questions after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at State House, Abuja. He expressed appreciation to the senators for their concern, but said government is on top of the security situation in the country as steps were being taken to address their anxiety over the current development.
As to those who have issued threats to Mr. President, I think it's more propaganda than anything. It's laughable. As to the resolution passed by Senate, as rightly said, it was passed when we were deliberating. But we thank them for their patriotism and their concern, but we have already, we are working around the clock, 24 hours, to ensure that Nigerians are, the situation is brought under control.
Suspended Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, will remain in detention as a Federal Capital Territory High Court reserves ruling on his bail application till Thursday. Idris and 3 others are standing trial over alleged 109 billion naira fraud. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the trial judge, Justice Adeyemi Ajayi, ruled on admissibility or otherwise of a document tendered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The report.
The matter is for hearing of motions on bail application filed by defense counsels on behalf of the suspended Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and 3 others. Prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, had opposed the bail application, citing the strength of the charges, cogency of the evidence, and severity of punishment attached to the offense. Defense counsels led by Chris Uche, SAN, however, urged the court to discountenance the position of the prosecution on the grounds that the offense is bailable and the accused have a history of committing themselves to trial, which resulted in their earlier administrative bail by an Abuja magistrate.
The application for bail has been taken today from both sides, both from us, the applicants who applied for bail, and also from the part of the respondents, that's the prosecution, who also opposed bail. And bail is one of the preliminary stages you go through before you get into trial. So we have presented our application before the court, and the court has adjourned the matter for ruling tomorrow.
What we are saying is that there are special circumstances where bail should not be granted in this case, because it's a case that affects the entire nation. It's a case that has to do with corruption, and that the court should not lightly grant bail in such a case, particularly if you look at the nature and the gravity of the offense.
The parties also argue for and against the admissibility or otherwise of an earlier remand order tendered by the prosecution counsel to support his argument, which the trial judge, Justice Adeyemi Ajayi, granted.
It's an order of the FCT. So the court taking judicial notice of it is provided for under the Evidence Act. The court should take judicial notice of his own order, and that's what it has done.
For now, the accused will remain at the Kuje Medium Correctional Facility pending the determination of their bail application. It was legal fireworks right here at the FCT High Court, where counsels, argue for and against a bail application before Justice Adeyemi Ajayi, who eventually reserved ruling on this matter until Thursday, the 28th of July, 2022. From the FCT High Court here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Bandits have killed at least 60 people and sacked 8 villages in Karim Lamido local government area of Taraba State. The villages located at the border between Taraba, Plateau and Bauchi had been under the siege of bandits for the past several months. A community leader, Tanko Bobo Andami, told Daily Trust in an interview the killings happened between December last year and July this year at Binari, Belingo, Jamaga, Jabjab, and Tinga Kaya, among other villages in the border area. He said the sacked villages include Komotoro, Jamaga, Mashayin Kirgi, Mashayin Biri, Tafia, Tafashia, Guamo, Jigawa, and Tungankaya. Andami stated further that there are over 2,000 bandits in their bases at Dajin Madam, Odare, and Ashase forests located in both Plateau and Taraba border areas. The Taraba State Police Command is yet to issue a statement to that effect. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has dismissed as false and unfounded news making the rounds on social media that there was sporadic shootings at Dantata Bridge and Ministers Hill in the Lugbe area of Abuja. The command, in a statement by the Commissioner, Babaji Sunday, said it arrived at the conclusion after an all-night monitoring and surveillance of the area by the command's intelligence and tactical asset. The CP said he has directed an investigation into sources of countless and maliciously crafted and panic-generating write-ups geared towards disrupting the peace in the FCT. The Commissioner, while reassuring residents of commitment to the safety of all in the territory, urged members of the public to only believe information released from official tables. Nasarawa State Government has ordered the immediate closure of both public and private schools as a proactive step to safeguard the lives of students from across the state. This follows security threats across, particularly at the Federal Capital Territory, with government already in possession of reports suggesting likely security threats in communities within the estate bordering the FCT, such as Gitata and Umeisha. Decision to order for the closure of schools across the state was part of the resolution arrived at during an expanded State Executive Council meeting, which took place at the Government House, Lafia. Briefing journalists shortly after the council meeting, State Commissioner for Education, Fatu Jumeita, said the state government decided to close both public and private schools in the state with immediate effect. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, has led hundreds of protesters in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, against the continued shutdown of public universities. Joining him at the head of the procession were former senator and activist Shehu Sani and the country director of Action Aid Nigeria, Ene Obi. Protesters who had converged on the Unity Fountain, Abuja, marched on the National Assembly, chanting solidarity songs and carrying banners and placards bearing various inscriptions stating their demands. Nana Mohammed was there and now reports.
The Unity Fountain, a popular protest spot in the capital city, is playing host to a huge crowd. It is the second day of the two-day nationwide protest declared by the NLC, the umbrella body of workers in Nigeria. Speech followed speech as leaders and Nigerians expressed deep concern with the prolonged ASUU strike, the economic situation, and prevailing security challenges in the country.
Are you going to be tired? No! Because already our children have been alienated. If you are investing in education, you are not doing anybody a favor. You are investing in the human capital for your economy.
Universities must take a universal look. We must have the best of our brains.
The message has been passed, and without missing words, the students, the union leaders, the parents, and activists say their hopes and expectations are high. After the long walk to the National Assembly, the chairman, House Committee on Labour, Mohammed Widil, came out to address the protesters, a situation that did not go well with the workers. Widil, who represented the Speaker, Femi Bajabemela, promised to ensure all relevant stakeholders will be brought together as soon as possible to address the problem.
The leadership of House of Representatives said, we are partners. We are partners. You are representing the downtrodden masses. You are representing the Nigerian workers. We are also representing the people by election.
NLC President Ayuba Waba handed the lawmaker a long letter from the union leaders. But what is next for the union leaders if government fails to honor their demands?
When we have already lined up several actions, we hope we don't reach that point because of the fact that there will be some actions which we have already set out. First is the 3-day protest and then strike action, and then we can then further scale it up to perpetual actions.
Ine Obi, an activist who took the long walk to the National Assembly, expressed hope that this time around the government will listen to the yearnings of the people.
We hope they will be able to address the issues so quickly. It's not nice that you come here, you are not seeing the Senate President, you are not seeing the Deputy Senate President, you are not seeing the strong officials. With that commitment, we can only be satisfied when we see actions.
Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Despite the upheavals in the aviation industry, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika is confident that the sector will recover from its present slump. The minister spoke to newsmen at State House Abuja after Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting. He spoke on the day the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, also made positive projections about the Nigerian economy in spite of the hardship being experienced by citizens. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The aviation minister was at the cabinet meeting to present two memos. The first on the proposed national carrier, which would allow the country to lease aircraft to start operations. The second was for the deployment of investigation tool by the Accident Investigation Bureau at a cost of over 707.96 million naira. It is surprising to many that such procurements are happening. Yet there are operational factors threatening the civil aviation sector. Meanwhile, the finance minister says despite Nigeria's economic woes, it will continue to retain its position as the largest economy in Africa.
We also projected that the nominal GDP, that is the size of the Nigerian economy, will rise up to 225.5 trillion naira, with 95% of this contribution by the non-oil sector, while the oil sector will be contributing only 5%. And then some steady increase from 2024 to 2025 to reach up to 280.7 trillion in 2025. This means that Nigeria continues to retain its position as the largest economy in Africa.
She admitted, however, that the present administration had depleted the excess crude oil account.
In the past 4 years, because of the volatility in the crude oil market, we have not had any accretion to the excess crude account. So what we have had has been gradually used up for different purposes, and it's always used in consultation with the National Economic Council, that is the governors, because this is a federation account.
President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the meeting of the Federal Executive Council at State House Abuja. Ministers of Finance, Works and Housing, as well as the Federal Capital Territory made presentations at the meeting, with 8 members of the cabinet physically present. Other cabinet members participated in the meeting virtually from their offices. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission in Rivers State has insisted that the commission will close continuous voter registration exercise on July 31st. National Commissioner supervising the state, May Agbamuche Mbu, said this during a press briefing at the INEC head office in Port Harcourt. She noted that the collection of the PVCs has been low, with 7 months to the 2023 general elections, urging people of the state to collect their PVCs in good time and not to wait until the last minute.
To collect their PVCs in good time and not to wait until the last minute. The Commission is working hard in its preparations for the 2023 general election and strongly desires that no citizen is disenfranchised and that every vote will count. We are now in the last week of the continuous voter registration exercise, which was previously scheduled to end on June 30th, 2022, as per our timetable, which was contested in court. After the recent court verdict that confirmed INEC's sole power to determine the date of stoppage of the CVR exercise, the Commission decided to extend the period by a further 2 weeks, which will end on Sunday, the 31st of July, 2022. The Commission has also extended the time for registration from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, including Saturdays and Sundays. INEC has a timetable. I can show you a copy of that timetable. And that timetable tells you, which everybody has. It tells you the day of nomination, the primaries, when it will take place. Nomination is going to come in on so and so day. It also gives you the dates for substitutions and withdrawals. So where there's a withdrawal, the party will have to have a primary, and then a new person is substituted. So INEC has the timetable is just there. So there's no hard and fast rule about how it works. So it's the party who will say, okay, we have A, B, C, D, F people who are withdrawing. They've sent in a letter asking that they want to withdraw, and the party has this list of those who they will substitute. So they will have to have an election to pick who and who will be substituted. And obviously, they have their own arrangement. Don't forget, the parties also have their constitution also. And all they do is invite INEC to come and observe and monitor the primaries that they would have.
The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC Reconciliation Committee in the Northwest is holding a series of reconciliation meetings with members of the party ahead of 2023 elections. Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai and other stakeholders of the party attended the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Conference Center meeting Tuesday afternoon. The report.
The reconciliatory meeting had in attendance Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, party leaders, and other stakeholders. The National Vice Chairman of the APC Northwest, Salihu Lukman, says as part of strategy to win the election, genuine reconciliation must be achieved for the success of the party in the 2023 election.
Election has taken place internally inside the party. Winners have emerged. There are many people who are aggrieved. And that as a party that is really working to win the next election, it is very clear to our leaders that there is the need to take every step necessary to ensure that aggrieved members are reconciled with the winners and they work together to win the election. This zone is like the heartbeat of politics in Nigeria. Any party that wins this zone is the party that forms the federal government.
Earlier, the Kaduna State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Emmanuel Jekada, also noted that it is only with reconciliation that the party can be strong enough to face the opposition at the polls.
After the many primaries, we need to build strong ideas and candidates for the main elections. And this could be achieved through a meaningful reconciliatory process, where those who have emerged winners must play a vital role by way of embracing the aggrieved. It is hoped that after the reconciliation process, we should be able to form a strong and a formidable campaign team that will win the heart of our followers.
However, APC governorship aspirant who lost the party primary, Sani Sha'aban, did not attend the meeting. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Legal practitioners express divergent opinions over the disagreement between the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and some political parties on the provisions of the new Electoral Act on matters regarding nomination of candidates. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that while the nation's electoral umpire remains firm on its resolve to adhere to the provisions of the Act, the political parties are mounting pressure on INEC to accept their candidates. The report.
Section 81, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 empowers INEC to monitor the conduct of political parties' primary. The electoral umpire also relies on its monitoring department to build a data bank of candidates that emerge through valid political party primaries.
The position of Section 115, subsection D of the Electoral Act is unambiguously very clear. That provision prohibits the possibility of you to be a dual candidate in two electoral experiments.
Because I've said that our constitutional nomination is winning the primaries of a political party. Once you win, you are validly nominated by that process, and therefore you are the validly nominated candidate of the party.
While Section 29, subsection 1 of the same electoral law says only the names of validly nominated candidates should find their way into INEC office. Some political parties are bent at substituting already nominated candidates in what is perceived to be at variance with the provision of the law.
Section 33 of the Electoral Act provides, and I quote, it says a political party shall not be allowed to change or substitute its candidate whose name has been submitted under Section 29 of this Act, except in the case of death or withdrawal by the candidate.
If it comes to the issue of making a decision out of it, there is a body that the governance system or our own state system has given that authority and that power, and that is the courts.
The courts have already started pronouncing in favor of the position of INEC. The position of INEC is very simple. Under sections 31, 32 down to 34, there are only two instances where you can change a candidate as a political party.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is however resolute in its decision to accept only candidates that emerge through acceptable party primaries.
This particular commission is courageous, this particular commission is focused, and we are resolute in terms of our decision to conduct a good election in 2023.
Stakeholders in the polity are of the opinion that political actors should submit themselves to the provisions of the law, even if it's not in their favor, in order not to overheat the polity and undermine the citizens' confidence in the electoral process. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Most Reverend Daniel Chukwudimebi Oko has been elected the new president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. The announcement is contained in a statement issued by the CAN General Secretary, Joseph Daramola. Oko is the General Superintendent of Christ Holy Church, also called Nation Builders. Reverend Oko is coming in at a time of religious disharmony and tension, especially between Christians and Muslims. Oko was born on November 12, 1963 in Kano to Christian parents, is a native of Ndoni in Ogba Egbemandoni local government area of Rivers State. You're watching Trust News Hour. Coming up shortly, story of Adamawa woman shoemaker. Stay with us.
Dear residents of our beautiful capital city of Abuja, I know we all desire to have a world-class city with working infrastructure and clean streets. That is why the Federal Capital Territory Administration is investing a lot of resources and manpower to ensure prompt evacuation of refuse from all nooks and crannies of the city. Now, this can only be sustained if all residents play their part by promptly paying their waste collection bills. Encourage everyone around you to be patriotic and pay their bills. The task of keeping Abuja clean is for all of us. Remember, soup way sweet, na money kill out. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Now, a recap of our top stories. Opposition senators threaten to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari over rising insecurity. And court reserves ruling on suspended AGF's bail application. Moving to other stories, Media Trust Group, in collaboration with Border Communities Development Agency in Abuja, toward the development of the lives of the people in border communities in Nigeria. Group Chief Executive of the company, Munir Gwarzo, led a delegation to the agency where he acknowledged the good work the agency is doing for the people. Musa Luka reports.
The Group Chief Executive Officer, Media Trust Limited, Munir Gwarzo, said building a mutual relationship with the agency will benefit the public immensely in promoting the welfare of the people living around the border communities.
I also believe that some of your excellent programs that you've been pursuing, particularly in terms of interventions with border communities, we need to upscale the publicity. And we think the television, the Trust TV, can do a lot. Also being complemented by the newspaper and the radio. So our visit is also to inform you on the existence of the televisions and plead for your patronage so that collectively we can enhance the good work you've been doing for Nigerians.
On his part, the Executive Secretary of the Border Communities Development Agency, Junaid Abdullahi, expressed delight over the visit. He said the agency is ready to partner with the media outfit in promoting human development. He called on the media outfit to continue doing the good work, focusing on promoting social justice, national unity, and being the voice of those that cannot speak for themselves.
Being the premier branded newspaper, especially here in the north, it's not everybody that really can afford to go to.
Our August visitors, even though they're in July, powerful tip from Daily Trust newspapers, our neighbors. I would like to, on behalf of the Executive Secretary and management of the agency, thank you for coming. Your coming will further cement this relationship, this neighborly relationship. And I believe your coming also indicates one fact, that we take this organization in earnest.
The Border Communities Development Agency, BCDA, is a federal government intervention agency established by an act of parliament to develop all border communities' amenities through the implementation of planned and sustainable projects. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Women farmers across Nigeria are meeting to discuss the operation of the national policy on gender in agriculture to increase participation of women in agriculture towards achieving food security in Nigeria. Organized by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in collaboration with the Partnership for Advancing Women in Economic Development, the meeting is part of the National Steering Committee's annual dialogue on promoting women in agriculture. The report.
Boosting agricultural production through the input of women in rural and urban centers reduces food imports and develops the economy. This underscores the need for a successful implementation of policies tailored towards achieving food security.
I think DRPC has a project referred to as POWED, which is a Partnership for Advancing Women in Economic Development. Under POWED, they have a model where they encourage the formation of WECs, which is the Women Economic Collectives or Coalition. These are a group of women who are working in areas related to empowerment of women, whether it is agriculture, industry, etc., etc.
And it encouraged so many people to get. But we had issues of having to produce enough, sufficiently, because even at this point of singing agriculture in the country, we are still doing them manually.
Discussions are therefore centered on ensuring elimination of subsistence farming, effect of climate change, harmful practices that hinder women's participation, as well as investment in agriculture as an engine of economic growth.
So the ministry is really working assiduously to help women, because there is no way the new policy that is approved by the federal government, the NAFTIP, National Agricultural Transformation Innovative Policy, that will achieve all the content or the elements in the policy without incorporating women.
The gender policy has been stepped down in the states across the country. There is a high level of awareness among the women across the country, and especially in the different ministries of agriculture. For example, we are working on trying to create the gender desks in the various ministries of agriculture.
Other stakeholders in the sector say addressing the challenges of rural women in agriculture and full implementation of the policies will ease the burden.
We had worked with the Small-Scale Women Farmers Organization in Nigeria to simplify the policy and supported the smallholder women farmers to develop their work plan, which they implemented by engaging with different ministries, departments and agencies, commissioners for agriculture.
Experts say without investment in agriculture, especially in programs at the rural level that promote economic growth among women, food security would continue to elude the country. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Residents of Badariya area of Birnin Kebbi have cried out to the state government to come to their aid before their homes are overwhelmed by an ever-expanding gully erosion. The residents say the erosion threat has been left unattended to by the government for long. Hamza Galadima has more on the report.
Badariya is a new settlement in Birnin Kebbi which has for the past few years been expanding, with all category of people building homes, schools, student hostels and other development structures. Recently, the people of the area, particularly those living around Kwana Hostel, have cried out over the ever-expanding gully erosion that is fast threatening to take over their homes and in the process endangering their lives, as well as wreak havoc and destruction on their valued properties. A visit to the area by Trust TV revealed that the erosion has cut off over 80% of the area from the main area, leaving a deep gully that is fast taking over homes and on a daily basis. Some of the residents of the area who spoke to Trust TV appealed to the Kebbi State government to come to their aid, as very soon their homes will be history if nothing is done.
As you can see, the risk we are taking, even by a leg, follow this for this risky. We're almost cut off from the other people in the area. and it's taking over our houses. Most of the houses now have no places to stay. You see, this house is almost gone due to this erosion. We are calling on the relevant agencies, both federal and state, to come to our aid because we are suffering. We don't know before the end of this rainy season, this road will be cut off totally. So we are calling on the government to do something about it, please.
Hamza Galadima Zuru, reporting for Trust TV News from Birnin Kebbi.
Heads of ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, of government have been charged to ensure that trainings are maximized to enhance effective service delivery in all sectors. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, gave the charge at the induction of chairmen and members of governing boards of federal parastatals in Abuja. Mustafa was represented by his office's Permanent Secretary, General Services, Maurice Mbairi, at the induction conducted at the end of a two-day capacity training for chief executive officers, heads of MDAs and board members. He urged them to domesticate the knowledge gained at the capacity building program in their various MDAs to ensure that desired results are achieved.
Chairman, Chief Executive Officers, distinguished board members, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly urge you that when you report back to your various parastatals and agencies, you see to it that all your management team and staff feel the impact of this program from the enhanced quality service that you will henceforth render. Our society has become more educated and developed, and the expectations of service delivery system keep increasing.
Kano State government has discovered a large quantity of suspected adulterated fertilizers hidden at a warehouse in Gunduwawa in Gabasawa local government area of the state. Acting Managing Director of Kano State Consumer Protection Council, Bafa Bapa Dan Agundi, disclosed this in a statement by the spokesperson for the council, Musbahu Yukasai, on Tuesday. He said the discovery was made after they received information that the owners of the warehouse were allegedly mixing original fertilizers with sand and repackaging it to sell to farmers. Yakasai said the council also intercepted a trailer loaded with expired Semovita at Singa Market and also uncovered another warehouse full of adulterated fertilizers in Garko local government area. The International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, has vowed to ensure that a police officer alleged to have raped and impregnated a minor who is also his niece receives maximum punishment to serve as a deterrent to others. Chairperson of FIDA in the state, Rabiatu Adra, stated this while addressing journalists in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented in our studios.
The chairperson, FIDA, Rabiatu Adra, explained that a whistleblower had reported to the organization that the victim, aged 15, was repeatedly raped by an uncle she was staying with after the death of her father. She said on receipt of the report by the whistleblower, FIDA, in conjunction with Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Response Team, facilitated and mobilized the police, which led to the arrest of the suspect.
So the International Federation of Women Lawyers, Nasarawa State Chapter, wishes to state that a case of rape was reported to FIDA last week by one Citizens Center for Justice, Development and Peace, located in Lafia and headed by one barrister, Emmanuel Kuza. The 15-year-old girl was allegedly raped by her uncle, a police inspector serving with SID Lafia.
She said further medical investigation was carried out on the victim, where she was discovered to be 6 months pregnant and the baby died 3 days before the discovery of the pregnancy.
So we went to the the hospital and a test was conducted. It was discovered that the girl was 6 months pregnant, and they attempted to abort the child. So the child died inside this 15-year-old girl. The child had been dead for 3 days. The girl was already, smelling by the time we took her to the hospital. So we had to, as a matter of urgency, we had to pay for the evacuation of the baby, which we discovered they couldn't do an evacuation. They had to induce her to give birth to the dead child. So she eventually gave birth to the dead child, and we had to pay. The Ministry of Justice assisted us by paying for the DNA, like I said. And
she also said that the victim is safe and has already been discharged from the hospital, now reunited with her family. Rabiatu Adra said the organization would not stop until justice is served and appealed to the police to ensure thorough investigation of the matter. She therefore said that the team is always ready and prepared to promote and protect the rights of women and children, calling on victims of abuse to be bold enough to speak out. In a telephone interview, Public Relations Officer of Nasarawa State Police Command, Nansel Nimiel, said he is yet to be briefed on the incident as at the time of filing this report.
27th of July each year is set aside by the International Federation of Head and Neck Cancer Oncology to create awareness about the disease in Nigeria. The disease, which is considered to have high morbidity and mortality rate, experts said excessive smoking and alcoholism are some of the factors contributing to prevalence of the disease. The report.
As the world celebrates the day, statistics available show that 500,000 cases of head and neck cancer are recorded annually. The disease also constitutes about 1 to 4% of cancer in the human body. Dr. Mustafa Abubakar is the medical director of the National Air Care Center, Kaduna.
In Nigeria, we have seen a lot of cases of head and neck. However, also when we do the prevalence, it still constitutes that percentage that is seen worldwide. And we also know that annually almost about 500,000 cases of head and neck cancers are reported globally, and they are associated with very high mortality. Out of this 500, almost about 300,000 cases die annually of head and neck cancers.
He highlighted some of the symptoms, adding that early diagnosis of the disease gives patients high chances of survival.
You can see patients presenting with nose bleeding. They can present with difficulty in breathing. They can have change in voice. You see that their voice is hoarse. They can also present with swelling in the neck. They can also present with other symptoms like inability to swallow, inability to feed. They can have wasting. They can have cough and other, so it depends on which side, but generally these are some of the symptoms. Those that present early, there are high chances that the patient can be cured. But for those that present late, there are other palliative measures that can be taken.
World Head and Neck Cancer Day is also an opportunity to acknowledge the impact it has on people affected by it. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Nigeria's economic instability from 2016 to date has made a large percentage of Nigeria businesses to suffer setbacks. However, a 25-year-old woman, Jumai Zira, in Adamawa, has taken to footwear business, shoemaking, after several efforts made to further her education were unsuccessful. Salis Lawan has an encounter with Jumai and her apprentices. The report.
Shoemaking,
is a business predominantly occupied by men in northern Nigeria. Jummai is helping toward changing perception of many with her 4-year experience in the business. It all started after her graduation from secondary school in 2016, after her attempt for further education proved abortive. Jummai and her apprentice are now busy to meet customers' demand. With her current economic status, Jummai believes she is affecting lives of too many, insisting that her shoemaking business prevents her from waiting for handout from relatives.
Gaskiya da na fara aikin takalmi kan gaskiya na achieving abubuwa da dama. Domin for now ina fitan yin sana'a na in samu.
I started this business 6 years ago. After I personally realized that I have no one to assist me educationally. I could remember people when I started laughing at me, but now many of those people came here almost on daily basis looking for assistance. With this business of mine, I can proudly say I touch lives of many people with my family as the highest beneficiary.
However, she was quick to point out some of the challenges in the business.
I'm enjoying my business because in it alone I recorded several achievements. Nevertheless, we have many challenges that we need to be assisted on. Currently, I have 5 people learning this job under me. You see, if we can be assisted, we will help in reducing the number of unemployed youth in the society.
Worried by the continuous fall of the naira against the dollar and other currencies, the Senate has resolved to invite the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, to address the upper legislative house. The resolution followed a motion by Senator Olubunmi Adetumbi, representing Ekiti North Senatorial District, at plenary. The report.
Adetumbi noted that the CBN, through its numerous multi-sectoral intervention funds, provided special funds to support critical sectors of the economy. He explained that in view of such interventions, it had become necessary to assess the state of implementation and effectiveness of the funds deployed for that purpose.
The Senate is concerned that the import-export window meant to serve forex needs of business giants has become a rare opportunity that only a privileged few can access.
Lawmakers who contributed to the debate lamented that the US dollar to naira exchange rate has risen to 700 naira, noted that the leadership of the Apex Bank has questions to answer in that regard.
The Senate is further concerned that, as at yesterday, the exchange rate in the autonomous segment BDC of the foreign exchange market was 670 naira to the United States dollar.
Our currency will continue to be at par with other currencies of the world. And the only way we can access the dollar or whatever currency we want will be determined by other economy, not our economy. Thirdly, Mr. President, nobody will come to Nigeria and invest as at today. No one. No mad person will come to Nigeria and invest.
The Senate, at the end of Wednesday's proceedings, adjourned plenary till September 20th, 2022 for its annual recess.
On the foreign scene, Turkish Foreign Ministry has condemned an attack on Turkey's Consulate General in the northern Iraqi city of Mosul. The ministry said there were no casualties and called on the Iraqi authorities to fulfill their responsibilities in protecting diplomatic and consular missions and bring those responsible to justice as soon as possible. The ministry said the attack coincided with the United Nations Security Council meeting held at the request of Iraqi authorities to discuss an attack in northern Iraq last week, at a time when our country was unfairly accused and targeted. We now join Adeniyi Ajisafe for sports news.
The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced that the winners of 2022 African Women's Champions League will receive $400,000 in prize money, while the runners-up will receive $250,000. CAF President Patrick Motsepe, who announced this, said there is need for the game to invest in the women's game as Continental Championship South Africa, who defeated host Morocco 2-1 in the final in Rabat, pocketed $50,000 in prize money from CAF Women's Cup of Nations. In their first ever Africa Cup of Nations victory, Morocco will host the Women's Champions League, which is played in an 8-team tournament format following zonal qualifiers across the continent. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa won the maiden edition of the African Women's Champions League. And still in football, African Soccer Governing Body, CAF, has released the list of the outstanding players that made the team of the tournament for the just concluded Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Two of Nigerian Super Falcon players, defender Osinachi Ohale and forward Rasheedat Ajibade, made the team. Champions Bayana of South Africa dominated the team with 4 players, while host Atlas Lionesses of Morocco produced 3 players. And third place winners, Chenepolo of Zambia, had 2 players. The team of the tournament has South Africa's goalkeeper, Anle Lamini, 4-woman defensive setup, South Africa's Bambanani Mbani, partners Osinachi Ohale of Nigeria at the right back, Zambia's Margaret Belemu and Zineb Rodwani of Morocco. In the midfield, Morocco's Ghislaine Chebak, partners Grace Chanda from Zambia and Jane Refrilo from South Africa. Nigeria's Rasheedat Ajibade, Moroccan Fatima Tagnal, and South Africa's Jamin Seposewe are named forwards. South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, and Nigeria will automatically represent Africa at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, to be co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand. That's Sport News. I am Adeniyi Ajisafe.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Ayinde Shuaga, thanking you for watching.